Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's supplemental lecture. Again, sorry I couldn't be there in person with you guys today, but as I mentioned in my email, I drive a very small car, and I didn't want these gusty winds to blow me into a ditch, as it were. So this lecture will serve as a cover of some of the readings that we had from last week that we didn't get to talk about, and of course the readings that you were to have prepared for today. So first, let's talk about figures of speech. Now, you'll want to take a look at page 225, but we're going to revisit these next week when I introduce your next assignment, which will be the presentation. So we'll just keep that on the back burner for now. But let's move on to kairos, or what's timing got to do with it. Kairos is the art of seizing the perfect instant for persuasion. It is a spot which is an opening in an argument, and also involves fleeting moments which are essential to changing an audience's mind. Now, some examples of bad kairos, as you may be familiar with. First of all, the example that Heinrichs uses is asking your partner if you can buy that really expensive thing when he or she is paying bills. They're already anxious about money, and so it might not be the best time to seize the persuadable moment to get that really cool, expensive toy. Another form of bad kairos, which some of you may be unfortunately familiar with, is asking your teacher for an extension on a project the day it is due. Now, good kairos happens when an audience's mood or beliefs are on the move. It is there that you have a persuasive moment. You can also create a persuadable moment by changing or pinpointing your audience. You want to, as persuaders, seize the kairos, and this happens in times of uncertainty, change, or need. And also when there is evidence that challenges previously held beliefs. Some examples might be from the former presidential election, in which President Obama focused on change and hope, which of course seizes the change from what might have been thought of as the same old rut from George W. Bush's administration. Now also, he challenged previously held beliefs about weapons of mass destruction in the country's desire to pull out of Iraq. He seized the persuasive moment and therefore won the election. Now, something else that is intimately connected with kairos is considering medium. Here, you want to think about how fast of a response are you looking for. It's all about pathetic appeal. Face-to-face encounters are the most persuasive. They involve logos, pathos, and ethos. Your presentations, which will be discussed next week, will require you to evoke the senses of persuasion while combining the skillful art of decorum, which of course we've talked about as being able to fit in with your audience. We often don't think about it, but our senses have their own persuasive qualities. Your language choice should evoke them. Sound is the most rational of senses. It conveys ethos. Music, however, is an exception because it conveys emotion or pathos. Smell is the most pathetic. It triggers a visceral response. So think about those fresh baked goods or that pot of coffee that rouses you out of bed in the morning. Sight leans towards the pathetic because we often believe what we see. Think about, again, those ASPCA commercials and all of their pathetic images. Touch is literal pathos or feeling, and taste, like smell, is still pathos. When you think about mediums, we often misunderstand or take for granted their ability to be persuasive. For example, email combines logos, which of course is the logic of the written word, and of course ethos, or the credibility of the author, him or herself. This makes it a very bad form for expressing emotion and garnering sympathy, as some of you may have found when you email your instructors with trying to make pleas for various things. Television as a media mucks things up because images trump sound, and therefore it is more pathetic of the mediums. Instant messaging, or even those posts that you put on Facebook, also smack of ethos. It's all about the present tense. Otherwise, we wouldn't need those annoying emoticons to convey our emotional intent. Now, as you are well aware, your annotated bibliographies were due today at the beginning of class. I'm extending that date to the beginning of class on Thursday, so you're going to want to use the extra day wisely. Look at your final copies and see if anything needs to be tweaked, and of course, if it does, then do so. And I know you thought you were going to get out of your prompt, but as I said, we missed our prompt last week, so this will be your first of two for this week. And as you see, our prompt has everything to do with kairos. So I want you to answer the question, what persuadable moment are you capturing with your topic? This prompt is due either by email or at the beginning of class on Thursday. I will see all of you then, and I hope you have a lovely and warm day.